Hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. At this point, is just welcome because I haven't posted in like um months, 2 months, 3 months. Anyway, things happened, really bad things, and like death in the family happened. That in this post, I'm going to try to do a sort of October wrap up. Did I read October? I actually read a lot. Um, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to read because I was depressed. Because yeah, I already said why. So, but I did read quite a lot, and like whenever I am depressed, I like obviously tend to like not obviously I for me I tend to seek things that are familiar and provide me comfort, and for me that has always been reading. And yeah, so most of these books I read as ebooks, and actually that gave me migraines quite a lot of times on top of depression. So in October, I read a lot of monster romances in general. The first book I read last month was The Vampires of El Norte. It's set in Mexico. There's some fight between the white people and Mexicans, something like that. And either the white people are vampires or, yeah, something like that. And the Mexicans are like humans. And we have our protagonist who, like, when she was little, she got bit by a vampire or a vampire like creature. Um, and she didn't like transition into a vampire or anything, but she kind of gained special healing powers. And she belongs to this group of like rich upper class family or something. And so the childhood friend she had is like, it just belongs to a class um, who works for her family. So he's not of her class. Basically, there is a class difference. And yeah, so he was with her when this biting thing happened, and everyone just automatically blames him. Like this happened because she wasn't when after the vampire creature bit her, um he like she wasn't breathing, and everyone thought she was dead. He even thought she was dead. And he like was super scared that what her family might do to him, because they were already forbidden to interact. And anyway, so he fled. He left her there, because like he was also small, very young. Why am I saying small? Very young. And yeah, so he was afraid, and so he fled. And then we follow years later, and he is, I don't think he's in Mexico. Anyway, he's not home. Then he comes back home, and so she's pissed because he is supposed to be her best friend, and he left, and all of that. So then they kind of like, you know, go up to fight. Um, like these people who are trying to take their land, and I assume they are trying to fight the Anglos, the white people. And they also so this girl, why I just forgot her name, the protagonist's name. So she and her best friend, so they basically go and um join the fight, and they encounter vampires and everything, and also kind of have the whole situation out in the open about she confronts him, why did you leave me and everything. And yeah, overall, I'm just trying to tell you the entire story. Overall, I think it's a great book if you want something dark and yeah, with spooky vibes because it has vampires and everything. Also childhood friends to lovers, and yeah, a class difference. The romance is not a central part of the book. If you're someone who prefers reading more dark, gothic, spooky books in the Burr months, then definitely check this book out. The next book I read is The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. This I also read in my Kindle app, and honestly, it it was 3.5 star ish. It wasn't bad. It wasn't also spectacular. It's a romance. It has fall vibes. Honestly, I read it because I kept seeing it everywhere. Literally, I could not go just to the explore page of my Instagram, or even like Twitter, without looking at the cover of the book. So the next book I read was Bull Moon Rising. So Bull Moon Rising, it's a monster romance. The protagonist is someone who's again from a higher class. So the world is kind of like a, should I even say Victorian, like historical romance era. The protagonist is someone who belongs to a richer class of family. She's like a lord's daughter, and she wants to study archaeology. Yeah, something like that. And in this world, she women are not allowed to obviously study and do anything, but she anyway, she kind of convinces a minotaur, who is the love interest, like to marry her because she needs like a chaperone if she wants to enroll in this institution where she can like get this license, I guess. So anyway, he agrees because he is kind of in a rut. Is that the appropriate word? No. Okay, just let me explain. So there's a bull moon which is going to be rising in a couple. The bull moon rises. Basically, he like his body would want to fuck someone, and he doesn't want someone unwilling or someone uh he has been doing that, you know he has been masturbating for all these years, but like basically when she, our protagonist, just let me look up the name, even Georgie, right? Georgie, no, not Georgie, fuck. um Aspet. Okay, so it's Aspet. So Aspet is like, what was I saying? So yeah, so Aspet needs a chaperone, and so he I don't even remember if he explains this running thing to her, and so he kind of reluctantly, like, it's a win-win situation for both of them. She will get like a chaperone, and he will get someone who's willing to fuck. Yeah, so that's what's happening. That's the entire point. um yeah. And the rest of the story is pretty much her trying to kind of survive in this institution where she is in a group where everyone is, there is a lizard, I believe, and there's also another woman who used to be her maid. There's also another woman, I believe. So all of them are kind of like this group of misfits, you would say. Basically, they are not someone the institution wants to get, like, succeed. They are all ostracized by their society. But anyway, and also our love interest, whose name is, hold on, uh Hawk. Yeah. Hawk is not actually his name, by the way, the name of the Minotaur. It's something that people who kind of graduate from this institution can take the name of any bird. And he took the name Hawk. And so Hawk is basically, um, why am I losing the thread? So Hawk is, yeah, kind of like a mentor for all of them. And yeah, that's how the story goes. And if you there's also some spicy scenes, steamy scenes, and if that's your kind of thing, and then you will love it. This is written by Ruby Dixon. If you know of the Ice Planet Barbarian series, they are the one who wrote the series, and I love their writing. So yeah, and that was Full Moon Rising. Another book I read, which is a physical copy, it was The Last Dragon of the East. So the protagonist is someone who can basically see this red threads of fate between two souls, and she kind of plays like matchmaker. But the thing is that she cannot see her own red threads of fate, red thread. The only thread she sees is like thread he sees. I think the protagonist is a he. um so the only thread he sees is one that is graying. So that's a kicker. Um, so it wasn't like the best book I read, but I would definitely read another book from the author. So the next book is fan fiction. Honestly, I DNF'd it. I was pretty disappointed with the book. I don't know what was it about the book, because um so here's what I can tell you. Fan fiction is basically, if you've read a novel love story by Ashley Poston, I even posted like a spoiler filled, there's also a spoiler free section, you can check it out. So yeah, so a woman basically meets a character ripped who's ripped right out of her favorite fictional book where there are vampires. It's an island full of vampires, and so this character who's a vampire, she kind of like asks our protagonist for help. And yeah, that's how she kind of gets to this inside this fictional world full of vampires. And but in the middle of it, I don't know why, but I did not want to continue. Maybe I'll pick it up later this month, but I DNF'd it. If you read it, then let me know if you liked it or not in the comments. Okay, moving on. Next book I read is another monster romance, which is Whispers of the Deep. The world is pretty interesting. The world is kind of like the entire They have these cities which are based underwater, and so our protagonist is from a city called Beta. So we you have Alpha, Beta, Gamma. Yeah, there's also another one, but yeah, I don't want to spoil things. So the heroine is from this city where everyone is like an engineer, and yeah, sort of tech stuff. Everyone has a job in tech and engineering. And so what happens is that, and oh yeah, let me just explain it. So our love interest is the merman, who is like, again, basic human stuff and destroying everything, destroyed land. Now they're destroying water, and obviously destroy because there is like an entire world underwater, and they are even colonizing that. So obviously the merman, they are everyone is pissed, and this merman basically wants to kill every human, including her. And but obviously technology is one of the reasons why there are people called the people of the water. They are unable to like destroy humans, kill them anyway. So his plan is to basically kidnap her and try to force her to destroy this Beta city. Yeah, that's basically it. And she is one day, repairing a crack or something like that, in the glass, obviously. They are called pods, I believe. And yeah, that's when the kidnapping happens and everything. And yeah, then that's history, I guess. So um it's a slow burn romance. I really enjoyed the premise, the execution. uh I don't know, I cannot pinpoint what was it exactly that was the reason I did not give it 5 stars, but it was a solid 4.5 for me, or maybe 4. But yeah, if you're looking for a monster romance where the protagonist, love interest, is a merman, then yeah, go for it. So the second book is, clearly I liked the first book enough that I had to pick up the second book, which is Song of the Abyss. Again, stunning cover. Maybe if I can find the cover designer, I will put their name in the description. The cover are just so gorgeous. They are the reason why I chose to pick up the books. So, Song of the Abyss is so the protagonist here is a resident of the city Alpha, and she is someone who's the daughter of the, kind of, you could call it, the president of the Alpha city, and she actually wants to get out of Alpha. Unlike our previous the previous book's protagonist, who did not want to leave Beta, this one actually wants to leave Alpha. So when the merman dude, who is actually the pod brother of the previous book's love interest, so he's kind of this aggressive dude, and he's like big, and also he doesn't have a hand. Do they have hands? I think, okay, let's just go with hand. So he lost one of his hands. A part of it's amputated, because a fight happened in the previous book. You can read all about it if you read the previous book. So yeah, he has a lot of hang-ups, and he's just he also has this idea of trying to kidnap um this woman. And wait, it would be much better if I remembered the names, but I don't. Something with Mira, Maya. Oh, Anya. So Mira was the name of the protagonist from the previous book. The goal of this merman is also to kidnap Anya, and oh yeah, so there's this translation chip. That's a thing. That's carried on from the previous book. Um, that's how they kind of understand each other. The mermen have a different language than the humans, obviously. Although, yeah, they both talk in English after. Yeah, so basically, what happens is that Anya like says that you do not have to force me. I will literally go with you. I hate Alpha, and I hate my father. So yeah, after he takes her away, and that's again we venture into the depths of spoilers. So I won't do that. Again, this was a better book than the previous one. I liked it. And moving on, I also read the third book, which came out just this month, like 1st November. And it's called Echoes of the Tide. Again, if you look at the cover, it is simply gorgeous. So this protagonist is from the Gamma City, and Alpha is like the most advanced. Beta is like second level. Everyone's an engineer and everything. And here, in this Gamma level, everyone is like not an engineer. So they are like the lowest level. So she, for example, she was a thief. She stole something. So she was previously in beta, and then she kind of got demoted to live in this gamma pod city. Again, our love interest is a merman. This merman is sort of like so unlike the protagonists of the previous two books. He is sort of very jovial. He's like basically the sunshine to our protagonist, Grumpy. So there's a grumpy sunshine trope here. And she also kind of is on the side of them, like not the humans, because she has a sister, and so the other humans are holding her hostage, and there's a thing which she's asked to do, retrieve the key or something like that. And if she doesn't do it, like she's kind of threatened that we will harm your sister and something like that. So she has that motive to she also kind of wants to protect her sister, and at the same time she also is understanding of the fact that, well, the mer people, they are colonized and stuff. So again, this was uh, I would say my favorite out of all the three books would be book number two. I don't know why. I liked it. I really did. And I also read another book from the author, Bride of the Sea, which where the love interest is actually a mermaid, uh, not a merman, and their love interest is a sailor, no, a pirate. And this is kind of a, I believe, a part of a series as well. And I did read the next book as well. But just let me say what this is about. Bridal Sea is basically, you would say it's kind of like Little Mermaid ish. So It's a romance. It's a fantasy romance, and um, I would give it a 3 star. In the middle, I did not like it that much, but I continued, and yeah, overall, I would say I ended up enjoying it, and yeah, that's it. So the next book I read was Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. It's sort of set in this world where people are like competing for this grand prize, and yeah, so they have to survive these hauntings, small haunts basically, and a rumor has it in the story that multiple people have gotten even killed, or like they keyworded themselves, something like that. And so our protagonist, Ophelia, I hope it's their name. um, so Ophelia is someone who has recently lost their mother, and she's a necromancer just like her mother. Ophelia and her sister are the only two people left in Ophelia's family, and she is going to lose their house because her mother kind of mortgaged it and didn't pay the bank enough. When she comes back to her house one day, Ophelia finds that her sister is nowhere, and that she has left a note that she has gone to this place, this mansion where this competition is being held. And yeah, not to worry and stuff, but obviously she's the big sister, and so she just goes there to find her sister. That's her main goal. And but basically, if she ends up winning this competition, she will kind of like be able to save their house or something like that. And yeah, so when she goes there, she encounters this phantom, not like a ghost, a phantom. um I think phantom is someone who's not corporeal, so you can like touch them. Anyway, so they are not supposed to like help, I guess, the contestants, but he kind of agrees to help her. And obviously there is something that he wants, which is 10 years of Ophelia's life, and she agrees because, again, once again, she's still she only knows that her sister is in this house and she's in another group, but we literally do not see any of the other group members. I think we only see Ophelia, the group, the people Ophelia is in, the people inside Ophelia's group. So that's why the book kind of feels very isolated. I don't know the world of the book. It, to me, it felt isolated. It gave me very Caravel by Stephanie Gerber, Caravel series kind of vibes. And yeah, overall, I did enjoy it, really enjoyed it, but I I don't know, something about the ending kind of felt rushed, and but I I enjoyed it. Again, I am not sure. Yeah, it's an adult book, definitely an adult fantasy book. There were some steamy scenes, open door kind of steamy scenes. That means explicit, and yeah, I would definitely recommend you check it out. It is not a really excellent read, not a 5 star read, because, like I said, again, it was, the ending was kind of rushed. But I am looking forward to reading the next book, which is the protagonist is Ophelia's sister. And yeah, another new author I discovered, Cassandra Gannon, Ghost Walk. So I don't know, maybe it was me when I was logging my books on yeah, Goodreads, that I like stumbled upon this book, Ghost Walk. And I honestly never have heard of this author before, and but I was so surprised, and I cannot believe that I did not hear of this book before or this author before. It was so good. It was so good. Okay, so Ghost Walk is basically like we our protagonist is a detective. Yeah, and something so horrific happened that she kind of like had to quit her job. She just couldn't take it. She burned out. Yeah, that's used. That's a term that has been used quite a lot. So, but no joke, she was burned out, and so her current job, present day job, is a person who kind of gives these tours. She's like a tour guide, I believe, in her town, which is a historic town, but she's really bad at it. And so our love interest, who is a ghost of a pirate, and when she talks about a story where he's involved in a way like history books, according like in the story, he is like a serial killer. He has been labeled as a serial killer who killed two or three women, and he's there. He's like, no, I did not. And even besides telling the story, anything she says about the town, he's always like, no, this is not true, man, you're boring. And like it's I love the way the interaction. But then it happens quite in the first few pages, I believe. She is like, shut up. And he's like, wait, you can see me? And she's like, yes, I can see you. And everyone's looking at her. They're like, is this a part of like the ghost walk? Is this like an attraction? Is she acting? Like nobody told us about anything. She can see ghosts. Basically, her whole family is kind of spiritually connected and all that. And so the rest of the book, he kind of like tries to convince her that I am innocent of the crimes that I have been convicted, and you can basically help me correct history and all that. And he's also like very ecstatic that she is the first person in ages um, that is able to see him. And yeah, that kind of like there's also again an abusive boyfriend of hers. And I absolutely loved their interaction. It was very cute. And it's actually a time travel romance. So if you don't like that sort of thing, which I personally have a hate love relationship with that trope, but I loved it. She kind of like again, her family is spiritually inclined, so she kind of has this power, I guess, when she gets in touch with blood or something like that. I don't really remember, but she kind of gets in like when blood or something, or in a specific place, or touching some specific object, old timey object from that era, she kind of gets transported back to that time where this pirate ghost was, well, not a ghost. And she kind of does the job that she studied actually to be a profiler. So she uses her skills to kind of prove him innocent. And yeah, that's basically the story. But I liked it, I really did. And from then, I read a bunch of Cassandra Gannon's books. I read Vampire Charming, which is the second book. The first book is Not Another Vampire book. Not Another Vampire book is basically a like time travel. No, it's not like a time travel. It's another book where the protagonist here is a book editor, and she is editing a book which makes no sense. There are so many mistakes, like with the story, with the dialogue and everything. And she gets into an accident one day or something like that, and then she kind of stumbles somehow, is transported inside the world of this book that she is editing. And it's a nightmare, but like not entirely, because of the love interest, who is like a warlock. The warlock here is kind of like a mix of vampires and witches. So, oh yeah, these books have like a thing with fated mates. The protagonist of this book, she kind of thinks like well, she's obviously freaked out because she's like literally inside a book she's editing, and the book is not even good. And this warlock guy, he is like, who are you? Who are you? And there's also another person called Slade, which is a vampire, who is a vampire. And Slade thinks that our heroine is his fated mate. And like, it's kind of hilarious. He basically chases her an entire time. So warlock guy, he's supposed to be like apparently the villain of this book. And so when our heroine is like, I want to, like, you will keep me safe, and she like trusts him, he is stunned because he continuously tells her that I am the bad guy. But she's like, you're literally not doing anything bad, so why are you the bad guy? Stop this. And he's like, his entire mission is to kill this vampire Slade. The premise, obviously, this is not the first time I've read a book where the heroine is transported inside a fictional book. But I really loved there was lots of comedy. There was lots of weird things happening inside, but it was an enjoyable book. And yeah, it's just good fun. So definitely check it out if you want something funny. There are a couple of explicit scenes, so yeah, just go for it. And again, I read more books from the author, which were all kind of like this series where the villains, the Disney villains, they are kind of like the heroes of the story. And I really don't have the energy to recap each and every one of the book, but there is like Beauty and the Beast reimagining. The recent book I read was Happily Ever After, which there is a dragon and a green witch. Is the green witch the witch from the Wizard of Oz story? Maybe. I don't remember who the dragon, which story, fairy tale story the dragon is from. So there is a fated mates thing happening inside these books as well. So if you do like this trope, then you will love these books as well. Another new author, second edition by Cleo White. So this book, actually, I am subscribed to the BookBub newsletter, and there was a deal. So that's how I got the book. And I really did not expect to like it this much. This is an age gap romance, and second edition, again, I knew it had to do something with books, so I had to read it. Basically, our heroine is a college student, and she is a physics major, I believe, and her parents are like presidents of the college. that she goes to, and they have like high expectations from her, and she kind of feels overwhelmed at this point in her life, and she kind of wants to change her major. And yeah, so all her life she has like listened to her parents, but she just wants to do something else or something like that. And the day when she makes this decision, there's also like a party in her home where all of the college dignitaries and everything are like coming. And yeah, that's the day when she meets this dude and like has a one night stand in a car. And this dude is a librarian, I believe, um, in that same college that she is enrolled, well, not anymore enrolled in, that her mom works at. And so that's another major issue. And yeah, so what happens is that she is not anymore enrolled. I mean, she's not doing anything. So her mom basically suggests this dude, this librarian dude, that, oh, he's also French. So yeah. So basically, he tells her, oh yeah, the heroine's mom offers a job to this librarian dude, tells him that there's a huge ass library somewhere in Paris, somewhere in France. No, Paris, I think. Yeah. So just go there, and there are lots of rare books that the library basically has been, all the books are supposed to go to this Western college. And it's your job to kind of like see what books are valuable, and some like yeah, whatever, do something like that, and like basically sell the rare books to some collectors and give the money to the college or something like that, do whatever with it. And so, oh, he's also a single dad. So the heroine's mom basically suggests that, here, my daughter, she's like not doing anything, she takes great care of kids, so she can be the nanny to your kid. So then the heroine walks in and he's like, oh shit, I literally slept with her. So yeah. So there's a single dad, single father trope, the age gap trope, and it's really cute romance. And what happens, the entire thing, when they're in France, there are these second edition books that this old man collected, because of his love, because he wanted like a second chance with his love. It's really romantic, and yeah, I love the book. I was really surprised. I thought I wasn't going to love it, but thank you, BookBub. um Oh, I read another book which is called The Crack at the Heart of Everything. It is my battery is literally dying out. So, The Crack at the Heart of Everything, it's like this fantasy romance which is told from the villain's perspective. It's kind of like this redemption era book, and he is exiled. This villain is exiled to the very place he kind of helped destroy. And yeah, so that's what the entire book is about. It was enjoyable. I like the banter between the main characters. I love a good redemption arc, so I enjoyed reading it. And it had queer rep, so that was another plus point for the book. So those were all the books I read last month. Like, I think I read quite a lot of books considering the state of my mental health. I would love to know what did you read? If you have any plans to read any books, or if you found any of these books that I talked about interesting, you can let me know that in the comments. I would love to see. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Yeah, that's it. Bye.